My love was punished long ago. If you still care, don't ever let me know. If you still care, don't ever let me know. Credit for that goes to Slipknot. Some of you may be familiar. Have you ever had one of those songs get stuck in your head, your mind, your heart, your soul all at the same time? Maybe it's a weakness. Certainly it's a vulnerability, but lately it's Snuff from Slipknot for me. Even gave it my best go at karaoke last night. I thought maybe saying or singing those words would somehow release the feelings attached to the meanings that I've assigned to it. Guess not. The pain's pretty real, and when it resonates and reflects off of something in such a profound way, there's just no getting around it. At least not for me. See, the time was I'd have run from that, or I'd try to hide from it or repress it, and I'd sedate with alcohol or some other form of distradiction, my own made up word there. But not today. There's no running. I'm leaning in and owning it. Wherever it leads me this time is where I'll find the lesson I need for tomorrow. So it'd be easy for me to sit here and try to have you believe that I'm somehow immune to those conflicts. I could pretend that somehow I'm above the things that pretty much everyone experiences. You know, those things like anger or jealousy or guilt and shame. That I can talk about all of that stuff and be all glib and objective as if I'm somehow unaffected by them. My friend, that's just not the case at all. I wrestle with these demons on the days of my angels sit and watch, seemingly amused with my struggle. I mean, are they deciding whether they're going to intercede on my behalf? Perhaps they're waiting to see just how much I can take before I call out for their assistance. Will I? Maybe that's the wrong question. Or maybe it's more like the question that Corey Taylor asks us in his Stone Sour song, Through Glass. We don't expect an easy answer. There's no reason to expect that they'll accept it either. I guess it comes down to whether or not I'm willing to do the work and carry the burden. The more appropriate question is probably more along the lines of how much have I grown through this process? And is today the day that I'll demonstrate that I do have what it takes to follow through? I'd have you consider there's some real value in that thought exercise if it's undertaken in a constructive manner. We certainly don't want to hit the extremes and get to the point of losing it all. We don't wish to test ourselves with that kind of ultimate failure. And yet, sometimes life puts us in the middle of situations where we have to decide. After all, if there's no risk of failure, there's no value in the test. Our boundaries have to be pushed from time to time, or their meaning will diminish. We'll lose sight of them altogether. I'm not suggesting anyone cross that line, whatever it might be for you. Just make sure you can see it from where you stand from time to time. There's a part of me that wants to believe if I'm not experiencing some sort of pain with the growth, then I may not be growing at all. We can find comfort in stagnation and that so called steady state of sedation. Trouble is, it's an illusion. Regardless of our similarity, you and I don't get to stay the same. That cloak of illusion that we can cover ourselves with as we attempt to deny change merely results in the contraction of our existence while we wrap ourselves in denial. The pain of waking up and having lost may or may not be real for us today or tomorrow, but I'd have you consider that eventually the regret of doing nothing will weigh heavily upon us. If, in fact, we've done just that, nothing. Why share this today? I don't know. Or at least I'm not sure I can articulate it beyond what's here. It feels right. It feels like I have an obligation to myself to live up to that standard of integrity, to walk the talk of values like authenticity, and to look in the mirror with the light on. Today I pause to check in with myself and say, hey, self, do you like what you see? Sure hope you do. because what you see is a direct product of the effort that you've been putting in and the decisions that you've made. With that out of the way, I can create the opportunity to decide what to do with it. Am I on track or off track? Time to choose more of the same or decide where to adjust and do more or less of a thing. Perhaps it's time to throw it out and do something entirely different. Yeah. And the search for meaning continues, and building continues around the desires that don't subside. The obligation to move forward is not lifted. It's time to choose direction. It's time to get about the doing of it. And that's enough said. You've got my take. What say you?